I never thought I'd end up in the body of my own daughter, staring at my reflection in a cracked motel mirror, wondering if revenge tasted sweeter than the regret I'd swallowed for 5 long years. That night in the rain-slicked alley behind her dive bar in East LA, when she jammed the neural injector into my neck and whispered, "Sorry, Mom, but you owe me this. I didn't fight, because that's what mothers do. Right? We carry the weight." But as I blinked awake in her tattooed skin, her track marks itching under cheap foundation, and watched her saunter off in my tailored suit toward the life I'd built brick by goddamn brick, I realized the only weight I'd carry now was hers, straight to the bottom of the grave I'd dig for her lies. It started with a phone call, the kind that shatters glass ceilings and family photos alike. "Nevaeh, it's Lila. Listen, I need you to watch the kids tonight." Again, my daughter's voice, all honeyed impatience from her end of the line in that McMansion I'd co-signed the mortgage for back when she was still pretending to be the golden girl of Silicon Valley startups. I was in the cramped apartment above her old tuck area in Boyle Heights, the one she'd abandoned like yesterday's trash when she decided my life looked better from the inside. "Mom, you're just the babysitter, okay? Don't make this weird. Just the babysitter." The words landed like a sucker punch from an ex-con in county lockup, which is exactly where I'd spent 3 of those 5 years. Doing time for her armed robbery beef, the one where she'd held up that armored truck in broad daylight, high on whatever cocktail of fentanyl and ambition she'd cooked up in her dorm room at Caltech. I'd taken the fall because the cops had my prints on file from that stupid shoplifting charge when I was 18, hustling diapers for her as a single mom in the Reagan 80s. Lila knew that. She'd hacked the security cams herself, some black hat skill she'd picked up interning at that shady neural tech firm in the Valley, Neuralink, the one promising mindful mergers for burnout execs. But it was all a front for body-swapping prototypes. Black market deals with venture capital vultures who didn't care whose soul ended up in whose shell as long as the stock ticked up. She tested it on me first, that rainy night, swapping us clean so she could walk into my boardroom at Apex Dynamics as Nevaeh Hargrove, CEO, while I woke up in her body. Her warrants hot on my her ass. The betrayal burned deeper than the meth withdrawal I'd detoxed from in her veins. I'd raised her alone after her dad bailed for a Vegas showgirl, scraping by on night shifts at the factory while putting her through private schools on scholarships I forged with a smile. She was my miracle. Nevaeh spelled backward. Heaven. I'd named her, hoping it'd stick. But heaven turned to hell when she OD'd in college, flunked out, and started running with the cartel couriers slipping product over the border. That robbery? It was her big score, meant to fund her comeback app for neural implants. Instead, it left 2 guards paralyzed, and her facing life in Folsom. So she swapped us. Poof. Mom in the pokey, daughter in the penthouse. I got out early on good behavior, paroled to this shithole walk-up where the roaches threw parties louder than the neighbors. Lila me, officially, sent checks every month, just enough to keep the lights on, with notes like, "Thanks for everything, Mom. You're a lifesaver." Lifesaver. Yeah, right. I'd saved her ass so many times. From playground bullies to that restraining order from her ex who she keyed his Beamer after he called her crazy. Now she paraded around as me, closing deals with Saudi princes while I babysat her brats, my grandkids. Technically, from the nanny cam feed, she monitored like I was some undocumented help she'd fire on a whim. That call came on a Tuesday, the kind of LA evening where the smog hangs like regret and the freeways hum with desperate souls chasing the next fix. "Fine, Lila," I said, biting back the bile. I'll be there in 20. She laughed. That tinkling Valley Girl trill she'd stolen from my voice box.
Great.
And hey, wear something decent? The neighbors might drop by. Decent. Like the Walmart muumuu I scavenged from her old closet didn't scream, rehab chic. I hung up, stared at the injector scar on my neck, faint, like a hickey from the devil, and palmed the reversal device I'd lifted from a Neuralink whistleblower forum. 6 months of dark web haggling. Trading favors with ex-cons who'd done wet work for the cartels. One jab, and we'd swap back. But not yet. Not until I watched her empire crumble from the inside. The drive to Palos Verdes was a blur of taillights and talk radio rants about border walls and tech bros ruining California. I pulled into the driveway of what used to be my dream home, Spanish Revival. Ocean views. The works, feeling like a ghost haunting my own wake. The security gate buzzed me in without a second glance. Facial rec didn't give a damn about soul-deep fakes. Lila in my body, all Botox smooth and power-shouldered, waved from the porch.
Kids in tow.
Nevaeh, right on time. She air-kissed my cheek. Her scent, Chanel no. 5. My scent, making my stomach churn.
The boy. Jax.
6 and all dimples. Hug my legs. Gamma, you bring cookies? I ruffled his hair. The one good thing in this mess. Always. Kiddo. Inside. It was a shrine to the life she'd hijacked. My Harvard MBA framed on the wall. My patents for sustainable energy grids gathering dust next to her. My Emmy for that TED Talk on ethical AI mergers. Ethical. The word stuck in my throat like bad tequila. She handed off the kids with a wink. Dinner's in the crockpot. Ethan will be home late, another board meeting.
Ethan.
Her husband, my son-in-law, the venture capitalist who'd bankrolled Neuralink back when it was just a garage hack. Tall, Ivy League polish, with eyes that crinkled when he lied about loving the new dynamic. He didn't know. Or did he? That's what I'd come to test. As the kids scarfed mac and cheese, I tucked them in early, reading Goodnight Moon in a voice that cracked on Hushabye. Jax mumbled, "Why do you look like mommy sometimes? Heartstopper." "Just tired, baby." Dream sweet. Downstairs. I poured myself a scotch, top shelf, the kind I'd sworn off after AA from the bar cart, and waited. The reversal device hummed in my pocket, a promise and a poison. Footsteps on the gravel. Ethan. Home early. Tie loosened, carrying a bottle of Napa Cab like contraband. "Nevaeh," he said, spotting me in the dim light. "Didn't expect you tonight." His smile was easy, but his eyes flicked to the stairs. "Checking for Lila?" I set down the glass. Slow, like uncoiling a snake. Change of plans. "Lila's out schmoozing investors. Said to tell you hi."
Lie.
But it hung there, testing the air. He poured himself a finger, leaned against the island. "She's killing it. That merger with Neuralink? Game changer. Game changer." The word ignited something feral in me. Her body's adrenaline spiking like bad coke. I could end it now, jab him with the truth serum variant I'd modded from the device. Make him see the swap scars under her makeup.
But no.
Patience. Nevaeh. Let the pot simmer. We talked shop. Or what passed for it. Him bullshitting about quantum ethics. Me nodding like I gave a damn. All while cataloging the tells. The way he avoided my gaze when Neuralink came up, like it was a dirty secret under the rug. "You ever worry about the side effects?" I probed,
casual as a cocktail napkin.
The human cost? He laughed. Too sharp. Lila says it's all hype. Minds merge. Bodies adapt. Progress. Right? Progress. If only he knew the body he fucked every night was mine. Stolen. Scripted with her memories overlaid like cheap CGI. By midnight, the house was still. Kids asleep. Lila's heels clicking in the foyer, late. As promised. She breezed in, reeking of gin and victory, draped over Ethan like a trophy wife who'd aced the LSAT.
Babe.
You waited up.
Kiss.
Deep. Possessive. I slipped into the shadows of the hall, watching my own hands roam his chest, her laughter echoing my old cadence. Nevaeh's upstairs with the kids. Such a trooper. Trooper. Babysitter. The word clawed at my throat. That's when it snapped. Not clean. Not cinematic, just a mother's rage. Raw as a switchblade in a bar fight. I stepped out, device in hand, thumb on the trigger. Lila. Her head snapped up, my face paling under the foyer chandelier. Mom? What the? Ethan frowned, caught mid-sip. Everything okay? No. Nothing was okay. Not the years I'd rotted in her cell. Not the parole officer's smirk when he said, "Keep your nose clean, Hargrove," or whatever the hell your name is now. Not the way she'd ghosted my appeals, living high while I scraped by on ramen and resentment. Everything's fine, I said, voice steady as a .45. Just telling Ethan a bedtime story. About the night you decided heaven wasn't good enough, so you took mine. Her eyes, my eyes, widened, the swap's neural echo firing panic through both our links. Shut up. You crazy bitch. Ethan. She's off her meds again. Off her meds. The lie she'd fed him. The one that kept the checks flowing and the visits sparse. He shifted. Uncomfortable. Nevaeh. Maybe we should.
No.
I flicked the device. Not the full swap. Too messy with him here, but the truth serum pulse. A low-frequency hack that peeled back the memory overlays like sunburnt skin. Lila gasped, clutching her temples as flashes hit. The alley. The injector. The truck heist replaying in stereo. What? What did you do? Ethan stared. Bottle slipping from his grip, shattering on the tile like our family crest. Lila? What's going on? She lunged, nails raking her arm. But I was ready. Years of yard time honing reflexes. We grappled, bodies slamming against the sub-zero. My grandkids' drawings fluttering like confetti from the fridge. You stole everything, I hissed. Knee to her gut, my gut. Soft from boardroom lunches. The robbery. The swap. The life. I did your time. You ungrateful. Ethan yanked us apart. Face ashen. Stop. Both of you. What the hell is this? Panting. She straightened, composure cracking like fine china. It's nothing.
Babe.
She's delusional. Remember the breakdown? The pills. But the serum worked its magic. Her overlays flickered. And Ethan saw it, the micro-expressions. The soul mismatch in her smile. Lila. Nevaeh. Whoever you are.
Talk. Now.
We collapsed onto the sectional. The one I'd picked out from Pottery Barn back when dreams were tangible. I started. Voice raw. Spilling it all, the swap. The sentence. The babysitting gigs that paid for her yacht club dues. Lila interjected. Shrill. She volunteered. I was going to jail.
Mom.
You said you'd fix it. Fix it. Like I was the family mechanic, not the fall guy. Ethan listened, jaw clenched, the capitalist mask slipping to reveal the hurt underneath, the man who'd married a ghost. By dawn, the truth hung heavy as fog off the Pacific. He demanded a divorce. Lawyers, maybe cops, Neuralink's black ops wouldn't like the light. But as Lila sobbed in my stolen body, begging, I did it for us. Ethan, for the family, I felt the first twist of doubt. For us? The words echoed, stirring buried code in the Neuralink we'd shared since the swap. Flashes. Not just her heist,
But mine. Wait.
the robbery truck? I'd driven it once. Years back. For her errands. Cartel runs. My prints weren't from shoplifting, they were from that night, when I'd covered for her first bust.
Had she?
Amplified them? Or worse, no time to unpack. Ethan stood, keys in hand. I need air. We talk when I'm back.
Doorschlem.
Silence. Lila turned, eyes feral. You ruined everything. But her voice, my voice, cracked, and for a second, I saw the girl I'd raised, scared shitless in a dorm bathroom, pills spilling like confetti. Revenge tasted like ash. Was this justice? Or just another swap I'd regret? The morning after broke like a hangover in Vegas, head pounding, regrets piling up like empty bottles on the strip. I woke on the guest room couch, neck kinked from the throw pillows I'd embroidered myself back when sewing was therapy, not a prison craft. The house smelled of burnt coffee and betrayal. Lila's, my Keurig sputtering like it knew the score.
Downstairs.
The kids were up. Jack's building Lego empires on the breakfast bar while his little sister,
Mia.
smeared yogurt on the walls.
Gamma.
Mommy's crying, Jax announced, matter of fact as a weather report. My heart twisted. These mini-MES, caught in the crossfire of a war they didn't start. Lila was in the powder room, door locked, retching like the serum had dredged up more than memories. I knocked soft. Open up.
Kiddo.
We gotta talk. Silence. Then the flush. She emerged, face blotchy, my crow's feet deepening with her panic. What did you tell him? Everything. Her whisper was venom wrapped in velvet, the Valley Girl veneer cracking. I leaned against the sink, her body's reflection mocking me, tattoos peeking from my sleeve, a reminder of the skin I'd worn like a hair shirt. Enough. The swap. The heist. The time I pulled for you. He's smart. Lila. He'll connect dots faster than you can NDA your way out. She laughed, bitter as black coffee. You think this ends with a divorce? Neuralink owns this town. They buried whistleblowers in shallow graves out in the Mojave. Owners. Plural. I'd forgotten. Ethan wasn't just funding, he was board chair. The power broker who'd greenlit the swaps for high-value targets. Cops. CEOs. Even a senator rumored to be vacationing in a call girl's chassis. If he turned, it wasn't just her empire, it was the whole rotten network. But that's why I came loaded. The reversal device wasn't just a ticket home, it was a data bomb, set to upload every logged neural trace to WikiLeaks on activation. 5 years of her sins, time-stamped in my stolen synapses. The day dragged like a parole hearing. I herded the kids to the backyard playset, the one Ethan built on Father's Day. All lumberjack charm masking his cutthroat core. While they swung, I scrolled her phone unlocked with her thumbprint. Texts from VentureVamp, his private line, we need to talk. Coffee? Neutral ground. Neutral. Like there was such a thing in this mess. Lila hovered by the sliders, nursing a mimosa, eyes red-rimmed. You happy now? He's leaving me. The kids. I cut in, sharp as a stiletto, are why I didn't pull the trigger sooner.
But you?
You call me babysitter, like I was some Latina live-in you could deport. After I carried your junkie ass through withdrawal, lied to CPS when you ghosted for a month. This. I waved at the infinity pool, the Tesla in the drive. This was mine. You stole it because you couldn't hack your own failures. She flinched, the serum's afterglow making lies taste like acid. Failure? I've built Apex into a billion-dollar beast. You were coasting, Mom, stale memos and wine nights with the girls. I made us relevant.
Us.
The word again. That neural echo pinging like a glitchy app. I pocketed the phone. Called an Uber for the kids' playdate at the zoo. Ostrich feeding. Because who doesn't need distraction when your world's inverting? Lila protested. But I was done playing maid. Go meet your husband. Fix what you broke. I'll handle the fort. Alone with the grandbabies. The weight lifted a fraction. Jax chattered about dinosaurs. Mia clutched my finger. And for an hour, I was just Gamma, Nevea in the flesh, not the shell. But the device's hum in my bra reminded me, this was borrowed time. Back home, I rifled the safe, combination her birthday, the irony, and pulled files on Neuralink. Contracts, NDAs, a redacted memo on collateral identity transfers. There, my signature, forged in her hand, consenting to the swap for familial asset protection. Protection. From what? Digging deeper. Buried in metadata, emails from Lila to a cartel fixer. Time-stamped pre-heist. She'd planned it all. The robbery as leverage for a Neuralink prototype. Me as the patsy because Mom's got the clean record and the soft heart. Soft heart. Yeah. That got me 20 to life. Rage boiled fresh. But so did questions. Why me? Why not some burner identity from the streets? Because it hurt more this way, stripping the one person who'd die for her. Betrayal's sharpest blade is the personal one, twisted slow. By afternoon, Ethan texted, at the club. Come alone. The club, his golf enclave in Rancho Palos Verdes, where deals were sealed over 18 holes and backroom handshakes. I kissed the kids goodbye, slipped the device into my fanny pack, her old one, ironic relic, and drove the minivan like it was a getaway car. The club was old money Americana, manicured greens rolling to the cliffs, caddies in khakis, air thick with cigar smoke and entitlement. Ethan waited on the veranda, overlooking the 18th, scotch in hand. No Lila. Sit, he said, voice flat as a non-compete clause. I did, perching on the wicker like it might bite. She told you. Then. Not a question. He nodded.
Slow.
The swap. The prison time. Jesus. Nevea, Lila, it's insane. Insane. The word hung, and I waited for the pity, the outrage. Instead, why'd you do it? Cover for her. Love. I'd rehearsed. Loyalty. But truth serum or no, honesty clawed out, because she's my blood. And because I thought she'd come clean after. Build something real in my skin. He swirled his drink, ice clinking like handcuffs. She didn't.
She
Excelled. Closed the Neuralink acquisition last quarter. We're talking trillions in neural real estate.
Trillions.
The scale hit like vertigo. My little girl, puppeteering my life into God tier. But it's built on lies. Ethan. Your marriage. The company, all propped on stolen bones. He leaned in, eyes hard. You think I didn't know? Suspected. Maybe. The mismatches, the way she flinched at my touch some nights. Like it was foreign. But proof? That's why I funded the tech. To fix things. Broken people. Broken bodies.
Fix.
There it was, the power play. He wasn't victim, he was architect. You greenlit the civilian trials. The swaps on randos for beta testing. His shrug was Silicon Valley casual. Progress demands sacrifice. Lila pitched you as voluntary family discount. Voluntary. The lie I'd swallowed. But the neural ping fired again. Deeper, flashes of a contract. My hand, hers, signing under duress. A gun to my temple from her cartel associates. She'd forced it, then erased the memory trace. Or tried. You complicit fuck, I whispered, hand inching to the pack. You let her bury me alive in that junky husk. Ethan's face shifted. Regret? Calculation? I loved her. The version that wore your skin.
But now.
I need the real you back. For the kids. For the optics. Optics. Like I was a PR glitch. That's when Lila appeared, striding across the green in golf whites, club in hand like a scepter.
Babe, Mom.
Fancy meeting you here. Her smile was shark-toothed, but the serum's residue made it waver. She'd tailed me. Device tracker or maternal instinct, ironic. The confrontation brewed fast. Triangle of tension on the veranda. We were just discussing terms, Ethan said. Smooth. Lila's eyes narrowed on me. Terms? Like how you'll swap back and disappear? Take your parole check and fuck off to Reno? Harsh. But desperate, the queen sensing checkmate. I stood. Device out. Thumb hovering. Or, how about I hit upload? Every log. Every swap. Beamed to every newsroom from CNN to the Cron. Your empire crumbles. Lila. Neuralink goes Enron. You go back to county. This time for real. She laughed. Manic. You won't. You're soft.
Mom.
Always were.
Soft.
The word ignited the fuse. In a blur, her body's reflexes, honed in the yard, I lunged, jamming the prong into her neck. Not reversal. Yet. Another serum burst. This one laced with recall, full dive into the heist night. She convulsed, dropping to her knees on the astroturf. Visions assaulting, the truck. The guard screams. Her, gun hand steady.
No.
I didn't. But she had. We all had. Ethan watched. Frozen. As the truth unspooled, not just the swap, but the deeper secret. The guards? Cartel plants. Meant to stage a hit on arrival. Lila hadn't robbed for cash. She'd assassinated for access to Neuralink's prototype. Trading blood for board seats. And me? I'd driven the rig. Unknowing. Because Mom. Just one favor. The fall guy. Always. You used me. I gasped, tears hot in her eyes. From the start, climax crested like a wave off Malibu. Lila, on her knees, confessed in sobs. I was scared. The cartels owned me after college, debts from the OD benders. Neuralink was escape.
You.
You were collateral. Collateral. Ethan's face darkened. His funding had cartel ties too. Laundered through shell core. You played us all. He backed away. Phone out. Dialing securities. But Lila lunged for the device. Wrestle ensuing on the green, caddies scattering like pigeons. I pinned her. Prong to throat. Swap or upload?
Her whisper. Upload.
End it.
Defeat?
Or ploy. I hesitated. Mother's curse. And that's when the twist hit. Neural link blazing. Not her memory. Mine. Buried deep. Erased post-swap. The night of the heist. I'd pulled the trigger. Not her. I'd snapped. High on her supplied Molly. Thinking it was payback for the dad who left. The life that ground me down. She'd covered. Swapped to take the glory, building her empire on my madness. Truth reversed. I was the monster. She'd saved me from the noose. The revelation crashed through me like a bad trip in the desert. Joshua Tree at midnight. Stars mocking your unraveling soul. I released the prong. Lila slumping back. My chest heaving with shared gasps. Ethan hovered. Phone limp in his hand. Securities en route but forgotten in the fallout.
What?
What was that? He stammered. The boardroom titan reduced to a husband hearing his wife's ghost story. I wiped my face, her mascara smearing like war paint, and met his eyes. The truth you both hid. Or tried to. Lila stirred. Voice small.
Mom.
You remember now. Remember. The floodgates had opened. Serum overload cracking the firewall's Neuralink built to seal the swaps airtight. Flashes. The heist. Not as Patsy, but as architect. I'd planned it. Fueled by a lifetime of almost CEO. Almost wife. Almost enough for the daughter who'd eclipsed me without trying. The guards? Rivals who'd roughed her up once. Post-OD. Leaving bruises I mistook for track marks. Revenge. Maternal and molten. I'd pulled the wheel. The trigger. Whispering for you. Baby, as the shots rang. Then blackout, her Molly. Laced with amnesia. She'd cleaned up. Swapped us to fix it. Taking my clean slate while I woke in her wreckage. Primed to take the fall. You let me rot. I said. Not accusation but fact. Flat as a LA skyline at dusk. Knew it was my sin. And pinned it anyway. She crawled forward. Knees grass-stained. I thought. Prison would straighten you. Give you space from the bottle.
The regrets.
By the time you got out, I'd have it all: money. Power. A way to buy us both out. Buy out. Like souls were stocks on NASDAQ. Ethan snorted. Bitter. Buy out. This was your play from jump? Using your own mother as bait. His disgust was visceral. The kind that ends in asset splits and custody wars. Securities arrived then, 2 burly ex-Marines in polos. Tasers holstered, but eyes sharp. Mr. Hargrove? Everything all right? He waved them off. But the damage was done. Whispers would spread through the club like wildfire in the canyons. Lila stood, dignity in tatters, extending a hand. Give me the device.
Mom.
Let's swap back. Clean slate.
Clean.
The irony twisted like barbed wire. I clutched it tighter. The upload timer ticking silent in my palm. 10 minutes to detonation.
Why?
So you can spin this as family healing retreat? Therapy for the soul-swapped set. She dropped the hand. Face hardening, my face. Etched with her steel. Because I love you. Fucked up. Yeah. but real. That empire? Half's in a trust for the kids. Yours, if you want it.
Love.
The word dangled. Controversial as a loaded AR at a school board meeting. Does it justify the body count? Ethan's jaw worked. Weighing. She's right. Swap back. We dissolve the marriage quietly. Neuralink spins it as R&D glitch. You get the house. Alimony. Whatever. Whatever. The patriarchal pat on the head, like I was the hysteric needing hush money. But the dark tension coiled tighter. As a noir flickering on a rain-streaked windshield. I saw it then, the power dynamic. Her moxie masking the puppeteer strings. She'd played us both, me. The redemption arc. Him. The mark with a guilty conscience. Controversial decision loomed. Upload and burn it down. Collateral be damned. Guards' families deserve justice. Cartels exposed. Tech bros humbled. Or swap. Reclaim my skin. And walk into a Pyrrhic victory where the monster in the mirror stayed leashed. My thumb hovered. Kids' faces flashing, Jax's dimples. Mia's giggles. For them? Or for the woman who'd birthed a betrayer? No, I said, final as a gavel. Not yet. I hit pause on the upload, pocketed the device, and turned for the van. Tell the kids Gamma loves and Lila, next time you call me babysitter, make it count, 'cause I'll be the one tucking you in at lights out. The drive back was a haze. Freeways blurring into neon veins, pulse racing with the what-ifs. What if I'd never signed that forged consent? What if the swap hadn't worked, and we'd both ended up vegetables in some valley clinic? Buried secrets bubbled. The cartel's reach. Deeper than I'd dreamed, senators. Sheriffs. Even the parole board that sprung me early on anonymous tips. Lila's strings. Everywhere. Home, the apartment. Not the mansion. Welcomed with flickering fluorescence and a neighbor's reggae tone thumping through thin walls. I collapsed on the futon. Device in lap. And let the memories settle like silt after a flood. My crime. Her cover. But the betrayal? Mutual now. A feedback loop of maternal madness and filial fire. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of mirrored mazes where I chased her shadow, only to embrace my own. Dawn brought a burner phone buzz. Ethan. She's packing. Meet at the lab. Midnight. End this. The lab, Neuralink's black site bunker off the 101, disguised as a data center for green computing. I'd scoped it once.
Pre-swap.
Pitching sustainable grids to their execs.
Now.
It loomed like a villain's lair in a Michael Mann joint, concrete and glass, humming with servers that held souls in code. I arrived early, van idling in the eucalyptus grove. Pistol from a pawn shop tucked in the glove box. Controversial? Hell yes, moms with guns in Cali. Packing heat for heart-to-hearts. The gate scanned her face. Green light me in. Hull sterile as a morgue. Techs in hazmat nodding like I belonged. Lila waited in the swap chamber. White room with neural pods like coffins from a sci-fi B-movie. Ethan flanked her. Lawyerly in chinos. A tablet of dissolution papers glowing. Nevea, he greeted. Neutral as a prenup. Ready. She looked small in my body. Vulnerability cracking the facade.
Mom. Please.
For Jax and Mia. The kid's card, lowest blow, but potent. I stepped to the pod, device syncing to the console with a beep. One condition. Full disclosure.
Cartel ties.
All of it. On record. She nodded. Tears real this time.
Deal.
We stripped to gowns, awkward. Exposed. Mother-daughter redux in reverse. Pods hummed. Injectors whirring like angry bees. I forgive you, she whispered as the haze hit. Lie or love? Fog swallowed it. Then blackness. The swap's void, familiar as an old scar. I woke in my skin. Aches and all, the bunion from power heals, the hysterectomy scar from her birth. Lila blinked in hers. Tattoos stark under fluorescence. Eyes wide with re-entry. Fuck, she gasped. I forgot how heavy this feels. Heavy. Yeah. Ethan monitored vitals. Detached. It's done. Papers here. House to you. Nevea. Custody shared. Supervised. Supervised. Like we were lab rats post-experiment. But the tension ratcheted, dark as the chamber shadows. As we dressed, console beeped, unauthorized access. What the? Ethan tapped, face paling. It's uploading. The logs. My hand? No, the device. Rigged by her?
Or him?
Twist uncoiling. Lila's eyes met mine. Not remorse, but resolve. Sorry.
Mom.
But you were right. Burn it down. She'd hotwired it pre-swap. Her final fuck you to the empire that owned us both. Or was it salvation? Alarms wailed. Reds flashing. Security's inbound. Run, Ethan yelled. But Lila grabbed my arm, her arm. Frail now. Together. Controversial choice. Flee with the daughter who damned and maybe saved me. Or stand and fight the machine we'd fed. Doors sealed. Pods locking. No choice. We barricaded, waiting for the storm. The chamber turned tomb as the alarms crescendoed. A symphony of screeching sirens and pounding boots echoing down the halls like the hounds of hell on a midnight hunt. Lila, back in her ink-scrawled skin, looking every bit the street-smart survivor she'd been before the heist, barricaded the console with a crash cart, veins bulging in her neck. By time,
Mom.
the upload's at 60%. Once it hits the wire, every Fed from DC to the docks'll swarm this place.
Mom.
The word landed odd in her mouth. Reclaimed but rusty. Like a key to a lock long rusted shut. I nodded. My own hands finally mine. Calloused from factory lines and boardroom pens, gripping the pistol from the van. Snatched on impulse during the haze. Controversial as hell. A middle-aged black woman in America. Armed in a tech fortress. Facing down private mercs with NDAs and non-lethals. But desperation's the great equalizer. And mine was dialed to 11. Ethan pounded on the sealed door. Voice muffled. Open up. This is insane. We can contain it.
Contain.
The man who'd contained his wife's secret for stock options. I ignored him, focusing on Lila as we dragged server racks to fortify. Why now? After all the games? You flipped the switch. She wiped sweat, hers, beaded with track mark ghosts, from her brow. Eyes fierce. Because you woke something up. That serum? It didn't just show you my lies, it showed me yours. We're the same.
Mom.
Monsters in mirrors. But this? She jerked a thumb at the pods, humming ominously. This ain't us. It's them. The vultures who turned family into a firewall.
Same.
The admission hung. And unflinching. A dark mirror to the American dream gone glitchy. Bootstrap your way up. Or swap souls to skip the line. We'd both chosen the swap. One way or another. Footsteps thundered closer. shadows flickering under the door like specters at a seance. Neuralink security. Stand down. Bullhorn bark. All authoritative timbre. Ethan yelled again. Nevaeh. Lila. Don't make this worse. Worse. As if burying bodies, literal and figurative, wasn't peak worse already. I raised the pistol, heart hammering like a jackhammer on sunset. You coming back in here, son-in-law? Or you with the suits now? Silence. Then a click, door controls overriding.
Fuck.
They breached like a SWAT fever dream. Vests, goggles, tasers crackling blue. First Merc lunged. I fired low, kneecapping him, non-lethal-ish. But he dropped screaming, buying seconds. Lila swung a fire extinguisher like a Louisville slugger, cracking another's helmet, foam exploding white as surrender flags. Chaos reigned, chamber a whirlwind of grunts and sparks, consoles sparking from stray shots. Upload at 80%, she shouted over the din, ducking a baton swing. I covered her, back to back. The posture of 1,000 playground defenses transposed to this high-tech hell. Ethan burst through the fray. Not with them, but against, tackling a third merc, fists flying in uncharacteristic fury. I called it in, he roared.
Pinning the guy.
Feds en route. Your data's gold.
Gold.
The twist deepened. He'd played double agent all along, feeding the cartel crumbs while building an exit ramp. Or so he claimed. Trust? Shattered like the pod glass under boot. A taser prong hit my shoulder. Volts dancing like lightning in a bottle. I convulsed, dropping the gun. Vision tunneling. Lila hauled me up, her wiry strength a lifeline. Stay with me. We're ending this. The upload chimed 100%. Liberation. Sirens wailed external now. Choppers thumping overhead. Feds crashing the party. Mercs faltered. Radios buzzing retreat. We collapsed against the wall, panting, as Ethan approached. Hands up. It's over. For all of us. Lila eyed him, wary. You knew about the cartels from day one. He nodded.
Grim.
And the swap. Thought I could control it. But seeing you too, it broke the spell.
Broke.
Or bent to his narrative. Cops swarmed real badges, not private muscle, cuffing mercs, Mirandizing the lot. Lila and I sat, linked at the wrists for processing, the irony not lost. Detectives grilled, heist details, swap logs, pulled from the servers. Now viral on every outlet from Fox to MSNBC. You took the fall for her? One asked me. Notebook out. I glanced at Lila, her face gaunt but unbowed.
Yeah.
And she'd do the same.
Would she?
The question lingered, debatable as a jury's verdict. Trial came swift. Circus-like. Headlines screaming, soul swap scandal rocks Silicon Valley. Talking heads debating ethics on CNN. Is body autonomy the new Roe? Neuralink crumbled. Execs scattering like roaches to Cayman accounts. Cartels indicted in a RICO sweep that made headlines from LA to Juarez. Ethan copped a plea, accessory after. Community service in ethics lectures. I testified first, voice steady in the box. The alley, the injector, the years in her skin. Jurors wept. Tabloids ate it up. Lila's turn. I did it to protect her. From herself. Protection. The twist she'd spun. Truth reversed again my crime. Her cover. Now mutual martyrdom. Verdict. Hung jury on the heist counts. Too many shadows. Too few bodies. Manslaughter dropped to probation. Swaps ruled experimental assault, but with the data dump, precedents flew. We walked, me to the house in Palos Verdes. Reclaimed with back pay from the trust, her to a halfway in Echo Park. Rebuilding from scratch.
Ethan?
Vanished to a think tank in D.C. Consulting on neural regs. Custody shared long distance. Months later, on a bench overlooking the Pacific, our spot from her toddler tantrums, I met Lila for coffee. She looked good. Clean. Interning at a legit startup on green tech. Kids miss Gamma, she said, handing over Mia's drawing. 2 women. Hand in hand. Skies heaven blue. I sip my latte. Scars itching under sleeves. You miss the power? She shrugged. American as apple pie and reinvention.
Nah.
This feels real.
Real.
Or another swap waiting. Revenge? It ended in ashes. Empires torched. Truths exhumed, but debatable. Justice or just another layer of lies. I hugged her. Felt the neural echo fade. A ghost finally exorcised. Heaven or hell. We'd earned both. And in the end, that's the American way. Pay the piper. Or swap him out for a better tune. As the sun dipped, casting gold on the waves, I whispered to the wind, "No more babysitting." She laughed.
Free. For now.